Mr. Jake Paul, welcome to London.
Good morning,
to the
Jake.
Studio.
What's good? Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
It's great to see you because I feel like at the moment your name is becoming quite, do I say synonymous with boxing yet? Because you are everywhere in the world at the moment, and boxing seems to be the thing that you've turned your hand to. We heard what you were saying there about being taken seriously and people looking at you as a proper fighter. How do you feel your reputation in the world of boxing is at the moment?
I think it's great, better than ever, and I'm continuing to prove myself. It's an uphill battle, right? And I want to be respectful to the sport and add to the sport. And, I'm wearing a hat that says make boxing great again. And that's all I've really wanted to do this whole entire time. And I've backed up my actions in the ring. So it's undeniable what I can do and what I can accomplish. If I was just out here, messing around, punching people softly, having boring fights, no one would really care. They care because I'm backing it up in the ring, and then I'm doing more even outside of the ring. So, yeah.
I think, to be fair to you, you're absolutely spot on, Jake. I mean, it's one thing talking about it, but you've backed up, you went in the ring. However, I said to you Eddie earlier on there, I think this fight we've got coming up, Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, the fact that it is headlining at Madison Square Garden, I think it just takes particularly women's boxing to a completely and utterly new level. It's
historic, to say the least, and the fact that it was the second most pre-sales in Madison Square Garden history is next level. I was blown away by that. I knew there was going to be a ton of excitement for this fight, but now we're talking about breaking records with it. Both of the girls are here in the building, and the press conference today, this is only getting bigger every single day, and it was what was needed in women's boxing, to really kick it off and send a big, shock of momentum into it, and to prove that these girls are, worth seven figures, which is another massive, historic thing.
I wanted to ask you about your comments of Bob Arum. So he came out with what I thought were very negative, quite disparaging comments towards women's boxing, and you defended women's boxing, and I'd never heard you talk like that, if I'm honest, because I think a lot of people have an idea of what your persona is and the kind of person that you are. And when I heard you speak about women's boxing in that way and defend the fighters and talk about how we can actually elevate rather than drag these women down, I had a newfound respect for you, I have to say. Why did you feel that it was your place, for a start, to speak on it? And also, why did you feel like it was necessary to defend it?
Well, first and foremost, Amanda's a friend. And he was basically talking crap about Amanda. And not only is she a friend, she's an athlete signed to my promotional company, saying, and he's out there saying, no one cares about this fight. Like, oh yeah, Bob, no one cares about. I'm getting riled up in this studio. No one cares about anything you have to say. He's a dinosaur, and when someone makes misogynistic comments like that, especially to someone that I care about, then of course I'm going to speak up. And especially about women's boxing, what we're doing here is historic. Let's see the numbers on Stevenson Valdez. What were their pre-sales?
Eddie, what did you think of Bob's comments?
Bob's 90 years old. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's the problem is Jake is right. You have it's hard to call them dinosaurs, but they have a very different view of the world than the modern day individual. And I put my dad in that category as well. Frank Warren. They're in their 70s and Bob's 90. Like, the world's changed a lot, and Bob and these people, like, if you look at Frank Warren, he doesn't do any female boxing. BT don't really have any female boxing at all because they don't believe in it. Deep down, Bob doesn't think women should be boxing. That's the reality. So how can you passionately promote that? And his comments, the problem, when you're 90, you really don't care what you say. Like, he speaks his exact mind.
The filter goes.
Yeah, it does. And I think everyone at Top Rank, his promotional company, sort of go, oh my God, have you seen what Bob said? But to say that when he actually represents female fighters, Michaela Meyer, who is a tremendous fighter, the network, and he's speaking on behalf of ESPN, basically saying that ESPN are not interested in women's boxing. And we've seen the growth of women's boxing. We've been a big supporter of it. And this fight goes to show that, there is a huge market for women's boxing, and there will become a time, and I don't think we're too far away from not even talking about women's boxing. and just calling it boxing. As I said earlier, this is the biggest female fight of all time, but the numbers show one of the biggest fights of all time, and certainly one of the biggest fights in boxing today.
We've been in this country in Ireland as well, where we've seen the huge support that Katie Taylor drags in. I mean, she's just got masses of support, and imagine you know her now from doing all the promotional work that you guys have been doing. From your perspective, Jake, how big is this fight going to be?
It's the biggest fight of 2022 come that date, unless someone schedules a fight, heavyweight fight right thereafter. It's going to hold that spot until there's bigger names, which I haven't heard of a confirmed fight up until that point. So for me, it's the biggest fight of 2022, and not just as far as not just 2022, but what it means for boxing in general. It's historic and something that will be talked about forever. So for that reason, it might be even bigger than any of us can grasp right now.
Jake, I want to ask you, if I may, back to yourself, 5 fights, 4 by KO. We clearly can see you can punch, there's no doubt about that. However, there would be a criticism perhaps that you haven't fought any out-and-out boxers. When is that going to happen? And do you honestly believe, are you going to tell us right now, you think you can be world champion?
Yeah, for sure. Two-part question. The first part, I tried to fight a real boxer, and he faked the injury. So, that's Tommy Fury, comes from a legendary bloodline. It would have been worse for Tommy Fury. He can't take a punch like Tyron, so he's lucky that fight didn't happen. And I was ready to fight the pro boxer. I had a poster up in my gym of Eddie, actually. It says, "When are you going to fight a real boxer?" And I look at it every day while I'm training because he was one of the first people to say it. But I tried, and it's only been 2 years since my professional debut, and I've just continued to increase my level of opposition, and continue to prove people wrong. But I have a long way to go, and I know I could become a world champion because I spar against world champions, and I have great coaches and an amazing team around me, and I have a giant chip on my shoulder. I have a giant chip on both shoulders, so I want to prove everyone wrong, and I'm going to, just for fun.
Eddie, could he become world champion?
I don't think so, but he likes proving people wrong. I'm not going to lie, but there are so many great fighters out there, and the problem is with Jake is he has actually a lot of people don't know, he has a wrestling background, so he's spent time in combat, but he doesn't have a boxing background. And it's no disrespect to Jake, you can't just turn to boxing and become a world champion. He will try to prove us wrong.
I think boxers are easier to fight than MMA fighters. They're more predictable and they don't hit as hard, and they can't take as big of a punch.
I disagree about the punching so hard. But listen, I think that partly with you, sometimes I don't know whether you're being serious or not. Like when you talk about Canelo Alvarez, being
dead serious.
But you either have
my mom's life, I'm being serious.
That what you can beat him.
That I can contend with him 3 years from now, yes.
Okay.
100%.
Well, listen, maybe I'll promote it.
Yeah, and walk away with 50, 75 mil, 50 to 75 mil. So it's I've seen the guys that go in there against him, and I say it all the time. They go, the one guy recently goes 3 rounds and then quits in the corner, doesn't throw one punch. How much did he get paid?
I think a lot of people would.
I have way more heart than that guy.
Yeah.
I'm way more athletic than that guy.
If you had a wish list of 3 fighters that you would want to fight, who would be 1, 2, and 3?
I don't really have a wish list. I don't really care about anyone right now.
But Alvarez is someone that you want to.
I mean, yeah, but it's not like a wish list. Like a wish list is like what you make for Christmas when you're like, I want that. I'm so excited. I don't care.
Okay. All right. Well, put it this way. What would you say to people that have said that so far in your career you've bought those fights?
I've what?
Bought those fights.
Bought?
Yeah, so essentially they're not genuine fights. They're either exhibition matches or you've paid them off. Because that's been a criticism I've read.
It's illegal, be in jail. And to even put that on Showtime, who's such a credible network, and Steven Espinoza, it's like those people would also be in jail. They're not going to pay the amount of money that I got paid this year, for a fixed fight.
Is it for you, is it about the money or is it about the heart that you keep talking about? Because you've mentioned each of them equally.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of both. But I honestly am falling in love more with the challenge and being in the gym and the progress that I'm making as a fighter, and there's nothing better in the world than when you knock someone out and jump up on the ropes and prove everyone wrong. That's the best feeling in the world.
Will the Tommy Fury fight happen, do you think, again? Would you go for it again?
He needs to go fight on one of Tyson's undercards, prove himself, maybe get a knockout, but no one really talks about him unless it has to do with my name. So,
Well, you did say he's lost his chance. Is that the case?
as of now, yeah. Like I said, he should go take another fight, maybe have an impressive performance, grow his fan base, and then we could circle back.
I think that is something that some people don't. We keep talking about when's he going to fight a boxer. He did agree. I didn't think he would. I didn't think you would fight Tommy
I signed
Fury.
up in a heartbeat.
I know, but not saying that you couldn't have beaten him, by the way, because I actually think it's a 50-50 fight. But I think you did sign up to that, and actually he pulled out the fight.
Yeah.
So, you know.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods. Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.